Today on Political Access, I had a request in the comments to look at the presidential shifts between 1988 and 2008. So I've got my usual spreadsheet here, and let's dive right in. We've got the states here on the far left. Then we have the 1988 Democratic vote. That was Michael Dukakis. The 1988 Republican vote, George H.W. Bush. Jump ahead, the 2008 Democratic vote, Barack Obama, followed by the Republican vote in 2008, John McCain. Then we have the Democratic shifts between those two elections right here, followed by the Republican shifts, and finally the last column here is the net change between the two parties between the two elections. The darkest colors are going to be over 10-point shifts. The very lightest colors will be under 5-point shifts, but these shifts are going to have a lot of dark blue. It's going from a high point of the Republican Party to a high point of the Democratic Party, so there's not going to be a lot of red in this video. Now, some super brief background about these two elections. 1988, George H.W. Bush won his first and only term, which made 3 straight wins for Republicans. He won the Electoral College with over 420 votes. The popular vote was over 53%, and Michael Dukakis got a little over 100 with 45.7% of the popular vote. Now, there were some similarities there because in 2008, Barack Obama, he won with 365 electoral votes. His popular vote was just under 53%, and John McCain got the same as Dukakis, 45.7. McCain got 173 electoral votes. So having said all that, let's take a look at Alabama. In 1988, Michael Dukakis got 39.9% of that vote. George H.W. Bush won the state with 59.2. Jump ahead, 2008. Barack Obama dipped down to 38.7. John McCain, he got 60.3. That's a net loss of 1.2 for the Democrats, a net gain of 1.1 for the Republicans, and a total net change of 2.3% in favor of the Republicans. So not a whole lot of change there in Alabama. Some of these states nearly ended up voting in line in 2008 with what they did 2 decades prior. So let's quickly go through the rest of these states. Alaska, that saw a mild 1.8% shift toward the Democrats. Arizona went double digits toward the Democrats by 12.8. Arkansas, that went 5.6 toward the Republicans. Now we've got a bunch of big shifts here toward the left. First is California, that went 27.5. Colorado, 16.8. Connecticut, another 27.5. Delaware went a massive 37.4. Florida, 25.2. Georgia, 15.1. And Hawaii, huge shift there, again, 35.8. All those shifts away from the Republicans and toward the Democrats. Idaho, very little change there, only 0.8% toward the Democrats. Illinois, big 27.2 lurch toward the Democrats. Indiana made a big blue jump as well by 21.2. Iowa had minimal change, 0.7 toward the Republicans. Kansas, a bit larger shift, 1.7 toward the Republicans. Kentucky, 4.6 toward the Republicans. Louisiana went a healthy 8.6 toward the GOP. And now back toward the Democrats, we have Maine with 28.7, Maryland with 28.3, Massachusetts with 18, and Michigan with 24.3. Next in Minnesota, that's known as a blue state, but that went only 3.3 toward the Democrats. Mississippi's a red state, but that went 7.7 toward the Democrats. Missouri went toward the left by 3.7, Montana as well by 3.5. Nebraska, same direction by 6.1. Now we've got some more big shifts toward the left. Again, Nevada, 33.5. New Hampshire, 35.9. New Jersey, 29.1. New Mexico, 20.1. New York, 22.8. And North Carolina by 16.6. North Dakota also got bluer, but only by 4.3. Ohio went 15.4 toward the Democrats. Oklahoma defied the trends and went back toward the Republicans by 14.7. Oregon, back toward the Democrats by 11.7. Pennsylvania also toward the left by 12.3. Rhode Island also by 16.1. And South Carolina, same direction by 14.9. South Dakota to the right by 2.2. Tennessee got a little bit bluer by 1.2. Texas, very little change there, only 0.8% toward the Democrats. Utah, 6.1, also toward the Democrats. Vermont had the biggest shift of all. That went over 40 points, 40.5 toward the Democrats. Virginia, another big shift there, 26.8 toward the Democrats. Washington, 15.4 toward the left. In West Virginia, that had the biggest shift toward the Republicans by 17.8. Wisconsin cracked double digits back toward the Democrats by 10.3. Wyoming, just shy of 10 points, 9.8 toward the Republicans. So those are all the states. but I also threw in Washington, D.C. on here. We all know that's extremely blue, but between these two elections, it got 18.4% more friendly toward the Democrats. So those are all the states and all the shifts, and we can do one more thing to help visualize the data. We can apply it to a map, and here it is. It's the same basic shading. The darkest red and blues are 10 or more point shifts, all the way down to under 1 point margins. Those are the very lightest shades, and we'll say those are the tilt margins. So there's 4 levels of shading, and I could have changed the darkest colors to be 15 or 20 point margins because there's a ton of huge shifts on here, but I decided to keep it consistent with my other shift videos. So even though there's a lot of dark blue on here, many of those are over 20 point shifts. This is a 20-year span, going from a high point of the Republican Party to a high point of the Democratic Party. So as expected, most of this map is blue, and a lot of it is dark blue. Now the Republicans do have some bright spots on here. Of course, West Virginia and Oklahoma, those are the darkest reds for the GOP. They've got a few other lighter shades, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter much, and I don't think there's a whole lot to be gained from looking at one extreme to the other, but I wanted to fulfill this request in the comments, and I always think it's fun to look at shading like this. So there's not a whole lot of takeaways here. Both coasts, and even the Rust Belt that went hard to the left. Republicans did their best in the Great Plains and parts of the South. So anyway, I will leave it there for now. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about any of the shifts in any of these states? And what takeaways did you have? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next video.